Hello everyone, and welcome again to the Blue
Aircraft
Skies, the BVI Aviator channel, or the Blind Aviator channel, or Blue Skies, the Blind Aviator podcast, depending on where you might be watching this.
Okay, to start boarding, Captain.
And there's my cabin crew. Yeah, like I said in my last video, South Lowland Cargo.
Hebron, Kentucky, United States. 2.2 nautical miles, 295 degrees.
I can't seem to get that to work yet, so I'm basically using stuff from First Office Specs right now. And I would like to say happy anniversary to my dearest Stacy.
Emergency exit lights on. Emergency exit arm light off. Seatbelt selector auto.
We are at
left side window on. Left forward window on. Right forward window on. Right side window on. Left side window light on. Left forward window light on. Right forward window light on. Right side window light on. Left pack auto. Left pack auto. Right pack auto. Right pack auto. Isolation valve auto. Isolation valve auto.
So we can
ignition start selector idle.
Get this flight underway.
Auto brake RTO. Auto brake disarm light on. Altimeter 1017 30.04 inches. Dot. Auto brake disarm light off. Left flight director on. Left flight director light on. Left flight director on. Left FD master on. Right flight director on. Right flight director on. Auto throttle on. Auto throttle arm light on. Auto throttle arm switch on. Auto throttle light on. 153. MCP heading 186. 34,000.
To connect. But after restarting, I was able to get things to connect, and we are fully up and running. And as I said in the last video where I did the Microsoft Flight Simulator PMDG 737 tutorial.
GPW lesson light off.
737, I will be using an MSFS from now on.
Left load light slow light on. Right load light slow light on. Left load light slow light off. Right load light slow light off.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear.
The 777 and 747, I'm kind of stuck with P3 DO. Oh boy. P3D for now, but once they come out for MSFS, I'll be switching those over as well.
Don't sink.
And here's one thing.
Too low.
Terrain. Flight monitor.
Too low. Gear. Too low.
Eventually
Flaps.
we'll be able to work with
terrain.
the fly-by-wire. I can't talk tonight.
Bank angle.
Thanks to a migraine.
Approaching minimums.
A320
minimums.
And apparently the A380 as well.
1,500.
So that'll be nice.
400.
I will have to buy a second throttle quadrant because Southwest broke my other one, but
100.
I'll cross that bridge once the A380 does come
40,
out.
30. 20.
Anyway,
10.
I'm going to work on getting this plane ready for departure, and I will be
Wind
back
shear. Wind shear. Too low.
in just a little bit.
GPW lesson light off. Transponder mode off. Transponder mode STPY.
Ready for the departure briefing? Alright, it will be a left seat takeoff from Kilo, Charlie, Victor, Golf, 2, Kilo, Mike, Oscar, Bravo. Taxi route is per ATC instruction. We'll be departing on runway 18, Lima. Climbing via the departure procedures to an initial altitude of 34,000 feet. Standard reject and emergency procedures apply. Any questions?
Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen.
Test it.
Navigation transfer and display switches.
Normal and auto.
Window heat.
On.
Pressurization mode selector.
Auto.
Flight instruments.
Heading set altimeter set.
Parking brake.
Set.
Fuel control switches.
Cut off.
Checklist complete.
Door 1 closed. Debut professional fleet pilot column 3 untitled. Notepad column FS actions PMDGs. Edit read only multi-line selected FS actions ground 1. Less fuel service. Select LN3 FW1. Less close door open door greater.
Go ahead and send them down.
Left FWD fuel pump on. Left forward fuel pump. Engine number 1 FWD low pressure light off. APU selector start. APU selector. APU selector start. APU selector on. Left master caution light on. Right master caution light on. Doors warning light on. APU low oil pressure light on. APU low oil pressure light on. Microsoft Flight Simulator. APU low oil pressure light off. APU low oil pressure light off.
So today's flight takes us down to Mobile, Alabama from Cincinnati, Ohio. Flight time is looking to be around 1 hour and 37 minutes. As always, thanks everyone for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to join the mailing list, you may do so at the link in the description or by sending a blank email to BVI Aviators, that is Bravo Victor India Aviators.
Red command data CDU message display. GPS are invalid. Left side window heat light off. Left forward window heat light off. Right forward window heat light off. Right side window heat light off. Red command data engage light off. Red command data engage light off. DCW message light off. AC bus. Transfer number 1 off. AC bus. Transfer number 2 off. AC bus. Ground SBC number 1 off. AC bus. Ground SBC number 2 off. AC bus. Main number 1 off. AC bus. Main number 2 off. AC bus. Alley number 1 off. AC bus. Alley number 2 off. APU gen 1 off. Bus light off. Engine generator off. Bus light off. Navigation off. Flight controls warning light on. IRS warning light on. CDU number 1 message light on. Navigation on. Left side window heat light on. Left forward window heat light on. Right forward window heat light on. Right side window heat light on. Flight controls warning light off. IRS warning light off. GPWS in light off. CDU number 1 message light off. AC bus. Transfer number 1 on. AC bus. Transfer number 2 on. AC bus. Ground SBC number 1 on. AC bus. Ground SBC number 2 on. AC bus. Main number 1 on. AC bus. Main number 2 on. Dual bleed light on. APU bleed on. Air systems warning light on. APU bleed on. Left aft fuel pump on. Left aft fuel pump on. Right FWD fuel pump on. Right forward fuel pump on. Right aft fuel pump on. Right aft fuel pump on. Engine number 1 aft low pressure light off. Left center fuel pump on. Center left fuel pump on. Engine number 1 center low pressure light on. Engine number 2 FWD low pressure light off. Right center fuel pump on. Engine number 2 center low pressure light on. Center right fuel pump on. Engine number 2 aft low pressure light off. Engine number 1 center low pressure light off. Electric hydraulic pump number 2 on. Electrical hydraulic pump 2 on. Engine number 2 center low pressure light off. Electric hydraulic pump number 1 on. Electric hydraulic pump number 2 low pressure light off. Electrical hydraulic pump 1 on. Electric hydraulic pump number 1 low pressure light off. Field pressure light off. Left pack off. Left pack off. Right pack off. Right pack off. Right reserve fan off. Left reserve fan off. Anti-collision lights on. Beacon on. Wind lights on. Wind on. Logo lights on. Logo on. Flight deck door denied. Flight deck door auto. Ground power light off. Ground power not available. Left master caution light off. Right master caution light off. Doors warning light off. Air systems warning light off.
What threw me off there was that FSO next said door 1 closed. It shouldn't really say that unless the door 1 is really closed. Now shouldn't it? But yeah, I now know better. Like I said in my last video, it's really kind of a learning experience for everybody sometimes.
Hebron, Kentucky,
Captain,
United
all
States. 2.2
passengers
nautical
are
miles,
aboard.
295 degrees.
We should have everyone seated in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Doors 1/2 PMD edit red only multi-line selected. Doors 1/2 LN3 FWDR1. Left close door. Selection removed. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0.
Before start checklist. Flight deck door.
Closed and locked.
Fuel 1,90184 pounds.
Check.
Passenger signs.
Set.
MCP. Speed 153. Heading 186. Altitude 34000.
Check.
Takeoff speeds V1 143. VR 145. V2 153.
Set.
CDU preflight.
Completed.
Rudder and aileron trim.
Free and 0.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Anti-collision lights.
On.
Checklist complete.
Heading 132. Pushback PMDG. Edit red only multi-line selected. Pushback Vista taxi line 1. 262 push style units 2. Less straight out feet greater turn nose 3. No turn degrees comms 4. 0 shock select tug 5. Less set slash X. Selection removed. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0. Pushback edit red. Selection removed. Microsoft Flight Debut Professional by Pilot column. Tap. Act RTE Lex 1. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0.
Roger that. Ready for push straight back. Brakes off.
Park and brake off. Park and brake on. Park and brake off. Park and brake on. Park and brake light off. Park and brake light on. Park and brake off. Park and brake on. Park and brake off. Park and brake light off.
Brakes released. Here we go.
Starting engine 2.
Engine number 2 TRD. Engine number 2 hydraulic pump low pressure light off. Engine number 2 fuel valve light closed. Engine number 2 star valve light closed. Engine number 2 star valve light in transit. Engine number 2 fuel valve light in transit. Engine number 2 star valve light closed. Engine number 2 fuel valve light closed. Number 2 starter engaged. Number 2 fuel valve open. Number 2 generator active. Number 2 ignition on. Number 2 starter off.
Pushback complete. Park and brake, please.
Park and brake on. Park and brake light on.
Brake set.
Drive number 2 light off. Engine number 2 auto.
Engine 2 cutout. Starting engine 1.
Engine number 1 TRD.
For the salute and release from guidance on your left. Have a good flight.
Engine number 1 hydraulic pump low pressure light off. Engine number 1 fuel valve light closed. Engine number 1 star valve light closed. Engine number 1 fuel valve light in transit. Engine number 1 star valve light in transit. Engine number 1 fuel valve light closed. Engine number 1 star valve light closed. Number 1 starter engaged. Number 1 fuel valve open. Number 1 generator active. Number 1 ignition on. Number 1 starter off. Drive number 1 light off.
Our cruise
Engine number 1 auto.
altitude for today is flight level
Engine 1
340. We'll be climbing via
Hebron,
the
Kentucky, United States. 2.2 nautical miles, 295 degrees.
5 departure and Bowling Green transition. Like I said previously, the flight time is about 1 hour and 37 minutes.
All engines stable.
It doesn't look like we will have much in the way of ATC on VATSIM, so we will be on Unicast
Generator number 1
this
light on.
time,
Flight master caution light on.
but
Flight master caution light on. Flight controls warning light on. CDU number 1 message light on. CDU number 2 message light
Now
on.
that I
AC
know
bus.
the
Cali number 1 on. AC bus. Cali number 2 on.
proper way to
Generator number 2 bus light on.
approach and
Apple
land
generator bus
this
light off.
thing,
Left master caution light off. Right
I'll be
master
able to
caution
do
light off.
things correct.
Flight controls warning light off.
So,
CDU number 1 message light off.
that'll help.
CDU number 2 message light off.
Immensely.
Apple Gen 1 off bus light on. Engine generator off bus light on. Captain's pivot key light
Last
off.
time
Left
I
elevator
went
pivot key light off.
into,
Left alpha main light off. Left temp probe light
Cincinnati,
off. Pivot key on.
I was
Left shadow
actually
POV light off.
P2ED.
Right elevator pivot key light off. Right alpha
I'm
main light
blessed
off.
to do
O
a
pivot
bit
key
of
light off.
pre-
Right reserve fan on. Left reserve
So
fan
that
on.
did
Left
not
tag auto. Left tag auto.
record,
Right tag auto.
and
Right tag auto. Apple selector off. Apple generator bus light on. Apple Gen 1 off bus light off. Engine generator off bus light off.
Thankfully,
Dual wing light off.
ATC
Apple bleed off. Apple bleed off.
vectored me.
Engine number 1 cont. Engine number 2 cont. Taxi on. Taxi light on. Flaps 0. Transponder mode off.
I
Transponder
would
mode
never
XPNDR.
have landed
Flaps
at
and
the
transit light on.
airport.
Transponder mode ta. Flaps 1. Transponder mode ta slash RA. Flaps 1. Flaps 2. Flaps and transit light off. Flaps extended light on.
Check the door.
Flaps 5.
Taxi checklist. Generators.
On.
Probe E.
On.
Anti-ice.
Set.
Isolation valve.
Auto.
Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Recall.
Check.
Auto brakes.
RTO.
Flight control. Full left. Full right. Full back. Full forward. Rudder full left. Rudder full right.
Check.
Ground equipment.
V-Pilot
Clear.
RT station
Checklist
professional
complete.
untitled. Notepad road forms.main col MCP navigation column 37 MCP heading column 48 of 11. MCP head. Microsoft V-Pilot Act RTE legs 1 debut professional by untitled. Notepad column 36 forms.main col MCP navigation row 3 column 1 MCP speed column 2 MCP altitude column 310 of 11. Altitude edit alt plus E selected 34,000. MCP heading row 1 Microsoft V-Pilot row 2 tab can edit land. Disconnect. MCP altitude row 1 column 2 of 11. Altitude V-Pilot MCP heading column 3 of 11. Head. MCP altitude row 1 V-Pilot Microsoft Flight Simulator -1 Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0. MCP 5 Act Art debut profit untitled. Note forms.main MCP navigation row 3 MCP speed column jump to runway column 311 of A C V G 8 runways list 09 the news 09 the news 18C the news 18L the news Microsoft Flight Simulator
Approaching
1.34.15.0
runway 1
MCP
8
altitude row
left
MCP heading
on
column V-Pilot row 2 column 1 tab control
8
edit land
left.
disconnect Micro MCP altitude column MCP heading row 2 edit V-Pilot Microsoft Flight Sim MCP altitude row 2 MCP V-Pilot column 3 of 11 Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0
Before takeoff
Added
checklist.
sound runway guidance enabled
Flaps.
current
Set.
heading 186
Stabilization trim.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Left retractable landing light extend. Left retractable landing light on. Landing on. Right retractable landing light extend. Right retractable landing light on. Left fixed landing light on. Right fixed landing light on. Left runway turn off light on. Right runway turn off light on. Position lights off. Position lights scope slash steady. Scope on. Park and brake off. Park and brake on. Park and brake off. Park and brake light off.
Thrust set.
Check.
Right flight director light on. Auto throttle servos on. Right FD master on.
28 knots. 45 knots.
Speed alive.
Check.
61 knots.
Right 1.
77 knots.
80 knots.
Auto throttle
Check.
servos off.
92 knots. 107 knots. 121 knots. 135 knots. 147 knots.
Rotate.
Up
161 knots.
Up 10. Up 9.
Airborne.
Up 8. Up 7.
171 knots.
Up 8. Up 9. Up 10.
Positive
Up
rate.
11.
Gear up.
Up 12.
Gear
Gear
up.
up 13. Right gear transit light on. Nose gear lock
Heading
light on.
select.
Left gear lock up 14.
V nav.
Up 15. Right flight director light off. Right FD master off. CMA up 16. Up
Heading
17.
select on.
Attitude book. Runway guidance disabled. MCP altitude row 1 column 2 of altitude edit alt plus E selected 34. MCP speed 107 intervene but mode. VNAV off but mode space. Rest. Speed intervene
VNAV
off. VNAV light on. Level change light off. MCP heading column 3
Acceleration
heading alt
off.
plus E selected 180. HDG cell off but mode. LNAV off but mode plus L. Space. Rest. Heading select light off. LNAV light on. LNAV light on. Heading select off. MC Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34. V-Pilot row 2 column 1 4 of 11. Act RTE Lex 1/5 edit red only multi-line selected Act RTE Lex 1 MCP heading row 1 column 2 MCP up Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1 192 knots indicated.
After takeoff checklist. Engine bleed.
On.
Packs.
Auto.
Landing gear.
Up and off.
Flaps. Flaps.
Flaps 4. Flaps 1. 4,000 feet. Flaps 1. Flaps and transit light on. Flaps extended light off.
Up no lights.
Flaps 0.
Checklist
Act RTE Lex MCP edit MCP outlet V-pilot row 2 column 1 5 tab control. Edit blank. Engine number 2 auto. Edit red only multi-line 02 07
Center tank
30 consider supporting
1,000
maximum. 8 messages tab selected. Edit blank. Left set disconnect. Right tab control. Edit red only multi-line blank. Notes tab selected. Edit blank. Disconnect. Mode C. Disconnect. Tab control. Edit blank. Blank. Edit red only multi-line via private message. Use the frequency 02 09 51 MCTR. Please contact me on 119.55 MCTR tab selected. Controllers in range. 3 view. Assist expanded 6 of 7 level 0. Clearance ground level 1 level 0 tower approach slash level 1 from MEM05 MCTR dash 100 com 1 119.55. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0. $59.18 feet ASL. 6,000 feet.
Lotus 1-1, double check your mic for me, bud. I think you're muted.
Yes, I was. We are out of 6,000 for flight level 340.
7,000 feet.
Wild Lotus 1-1, Indy generator contact, climb and maintain level 340 on course. Next time before you depart out, make sure there's no one online.
Yeah, I should have done that. Yeah, when I looked a couple minutes ago, there wasn't. So, yeah, I'll make sure to do that next time.
8,000.
Yeah, Roger, no worries. I've been online for probably 10-15 minutes at least. So, just a heads up for next time, yeah?
Yeah, that's interesting because it didn't show Indy Center at all until just now on my end.
Yeah, Roger. It's wonky like that sometimes.
9,000 feet.
So yeah, I usually do check that, and I missed it that time, but what was the squawk again?
The squawk for you is going to be 6760, and it looks like you're already squawking it.
Yep, I am. Alright, so yeah,
10,000 feet.
I have to keep an eye on V-pilot because I have been having a couple issues with it lately, so... Anyway, I'll let you know if I need anything.
Right runway turn off, light off. Taxi off.
Roger.
Taxi light off. Wind lights off. Logo lights off. Logo off.
Star Trek 108, leave airspace to the west. Kansas City is offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Good night.
MCP heading column MCP take new
Hello, guys.
name column MCP navigation MCP speed column Spotify premium column Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0.
So yeah, that does happen, folks. Sometimes where controller's online, but
11,000 feet.
V-pilot doesn't show it, or doesn't show it when it should, because I had checked that multiple times actually, and it did not show Indianapolis Center's online. But like I said, it's all good.
12,000 feet.
Because yeah, V-pilot has issues with the ATIS at some airports too, and I'm gonna have to look into that eventually. Because like Cincinnati, I almost never had to hear the ATIS for that airport, and there are a couple other airports that for some reason I never hear the ATIS from, even when I'm either at the airport or very close to the airport.
299 knots indicated.
But yeah, we are climbing to
13,882 feet ASL.
15,900 feet, now 14,000 feet, and
distance to descent 431/0 1 12 48.
in about 1 hour 12 minutes, we'll be starting our descent
Ocean,
into
Kentucky, United States. 7.7 nautical
Mobile.
miles, 208 degrees.
And what's interesting here is that First Officer Next did not retract the flaps properly. No big deal. I would highly recommend, if you're looking for a decently priced
16,000 feet.
flight control setup, to look at the Airbus Airbus Officers Edition from Thrustmaster. It comes with a very nice joystick, very nice throttle quadrant that are replicas of what you would see in a real Airbus, even though I fly a Boeing.
17,000 feet.
I wish the Boeing version of this was not like $500. This was like half that, if not less, for the Airbus edition. And you can buy a second throttle quadrant if you're going to fly something with 4 engines.
Transition altitude.
Altimeter, 1013, 29.92 inches. Dot.
For the most part, in MSFS, it actually sets it up
18,000 feet.
perfectly. The buttons are in different spots, but the only button I had to remove was the autopilot. I can't talk. Autopilot switch, which is button 4 on the joystick, which is my same button as in V-Pilot for the PTT button. So I actually had to get rid of that button. What's a big help there?
Citation 8, Tree 24 Echo, Roger. Just for your information, Cincinnati altimeter Tree 004. Squawk and maintain VFR, frequency change approved.
Appreciate you, keep working.
But yeah, it works beautifully. It's calibrated beautifully. I do have reverse thrust capabilities, like I said in my last video, in the throttle quadrant. It does act like a button, but basically what you do is use the little tabs to get it over the hump as you pull them back into the reverse thrust position, and just hold them slightly there until it engages, then pull them all the way back and now you have full reverse thrust. Works quite well. Passing flight level 210 now, going up to flight level 340. I'm going to be turning off the cabin stuff for First Officer again. It didn't really do what I wanted it to do, and hopefully I'll get self-loading cargo working. But I'm going to reset up PACX to work in MSFS as well.
22,000 feet.
And yeah, I really love the weather here and the physics, because everything is so much smoother, so much more realistic. It's not even funny.
American 2226, descend and maintain flight level 340.
So I will chat more once we are at cruise altitude.
Descend and maintain flight level 340, American 2226.
Enjoy the flight.
23,856. 1634 feet per minute. 24,000 feet.
Oh yes. Here's a big difference. With P3D, with the same joystick,
25,000 feet.
It does not see it correctly, and in turn FSUIPC doesn't see it correctly either in P3D. You know that button 4 I was talking about? P3D and FSUIPC for P3D both see that same button as button 3 when it's actually button 4. And Microsoft Flight Simulator kind of confirmed that for me. So, if you have a computer that can run Microsoft Flight Simulator,
26,000 feet.
I highly recommend, if you are flying the PMDG 737, to move right on over. The water is fine. Actually, the water is very fine. I believe the 737 600, 700, 800 and 900 variants are all in P3, not P3D. Yeah, well, Microsoft Flight Simulator at this point, and the BBJ is included in the base download. I'm not sure about the cargo variant, but that could be in there as well.
11, contact Memphis Center on frequency 133.65. Good night, bud.
Over to Memphis Center, 133.65, while Lotus 11. Have a good night.
American 2226, leaving my airspace to the northwest. Chicago is offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Good night.
Disconnect. Tap edit red only multi-line.
Frequency change approved for American 2226. Have a great night. Thank you.
Edit red only multi-line 02, 10, 55 com 1 frequency set messages tab selected. Controllers in range. Preview. NCTR 281 CTR-1 MEM05 CTR-133.650 com 1. 100 Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0. 27,791 feet ASL.
Memphis Center, good evening. While Lotus 11 is out of flight level 280 for flight level 340.
Aldous 11, Memphis Center, welcome.
Like I was saying, I'm not sure if the cargo version is out for MSFS, but it probably is. And the one I'm really excited about, and should be coming out hopefully soon, is the 737 MAX 8. That'll be a nice addition. That'll be a real nice addition because, while it's essentially a similar aircraft to the 737-800, if PMDG is paying any attention at all, and usually they're pretty good about this, it will have different engine sounds because it's got the CFM LEAP engines in it, and they do sound quite a bit different. They're definitely quieter, way quieter than the CFM 56 engines. I mean, in real life, I have to usually turn my headphones on pretty high up.
United States, 5.3 nautical miles, 80 degrees.
To actually drown out the CFM 56 engines. The CFM LEAP engines? Nope, I can actually turn them down pretty decently and be just fine. Big difference. Anyway, we're almost to cruising altitude, and I will have a surprise for my dear Stacy once we have reached cruising altitude, so stay tuned.
$31,000 feet. $32,000 feet. $33,000 feet. N1 light off. N1 light off. Seatbelt selector off. 34,000 feet. Distance to destination.
The captain is turned off the seatbelt sign. You're free to move about the cabin, but when seated, please keep your seatbelts fastened as turbulence is unpredictable.
FedEx 1502, he is standby. Let me see what's going on.
Distance to destination, 477/01627.
Flight time, now that we're cruising altitude, is 1 hour and 6 minutes. We should be descending in
336/04656.
about 47 minutes. And now for a surprise for my dear Stacy. I did say there was going to be a surprise today, and well, it's still today, meaning September 11th.
FedEx 1502, he's going to disconnect and reconnect. Once he reconnects, can you go back over to the frequency and see if that works?
Yeah, I'll give it another go when it comes back on 1502.
My dearest, most precious, most loving Stacy, my dearest girlfriend, I love thee with all my heart, with everything, and each day is so happy. And the
Eastfield, Kentucky, United States. 4.1 nautical miles, 259 degrees,
me so
Central Standard
happy.
Time.
You are the joy of my everyday, and every single day it makes me feel so special and so loved. And I have 2 questions to ask thee. Will my dear Stacy, my most loving and caring girlfriend, always be my girlfriend? And will my most precious and most
773 Memphis
Stacy,
Center ident.
my most loving girlfriend, will thee marry thee?
EPS 773 radar contact. 6 miles to the east of the El Dorado via wire, flight level 370, welcome.
V-pilot row, ACT RTE legs 1/edit red only multi-line selected ACT RTE, land, ACT RTE legs 1/3200. Land 140 RW15 /103 K163 /1800 112 CFLSL 209 /2000 day 238 degrees 64.0 nm 2 CFLSL 209 /2000 day. Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0.
And Memphis Center, Southwest 3245. Can we step away for a couple minutes?
Southwest 3245, roger, let me know when you're back.
I do have to say I really don't know what the heck they're doing over at Talking Flight Monitor at this point. I really think they should fix the issues that it has before moving on to new things. I mean, granted, they are going to fix, and they have started working on fixing one of the biggest issues in Microsoft Flight Simulator, where it can't read the incoming messages from vPilot. That would be nice to have back, since it can do that in P3D. They are fixing that, and they're going to make things easier to use there. But there's a lot of holes here. For one, they have yet to complete the 777 and 747 cockpit window. That's not completed. They should be completing that. Hands down. They've essentially abandoned those 2 airplanes for just the PMDG 737. And they want to add the fly-by-wires A320 and eventually the A380 as well. Huh. I'll believe that when I actually see them do good with the 777 and 747, since, like I said, they pretty much abandoned those airplanes. You know what's going to happen to the A320 and the A380, in my opinion? They're going to start the project with those 2, and then turn around and abandon those 2 airplanes just like they did with the PMDG 777 and 747. What's wrong with this picture? I don't know what to do.
EPS 3419 Kansas City Center is offline. Rear service terminated. Franklin approved.
The reality is, they don't really care about true accessibility. They really don't. Because
we'll begin our cabin service soon. We have a number of complimentary drinks and snacks, as well as meals and spirits for purchase. All purchases must be made with a credit card, as we're unable to accept cash.
I don't have the cabin crew announcements turned on, so I'm not sure why I'm getting those, but okay, whatever. At least we have something. And I just don't get it. I really don't. I've been doing accessibility testing for over 9 years at this point. I understand what accessibility really is, and talking flight monitor is part there and it's partly not there. It's about 50%, because only, maybe less than 50%, because it really only works with one aircraft fully, which is the 737 from PMDG. And they really should be treating P3D and MSFS equally.
And Memphis Center Southwest to the 245 spec.
Roger, welcome back.
Quoting a post from Talking Flight Monitor.
At Memphis Center, FedEx 1502, we're climbing to 16,000 direct Lizzie.
Andy wrote,
FedEx 1502 Memphis Center, welcome, climb maintain flight level 370.
Climb maintain flight level 370.
It basically says P3D will be put on the back burner anytime the code differs between Microsoft Flight Simulator and P3D. That's not equal access in any sense of the words equal access and accessibility. Sorry, it's not. Hands down, end of discussion there. And
American 7340.
I do periodically grab the source code
American 70
for Talking Flight Monitor. So if you know of any software developers that
completely messed up my call sign, but that's okay.
Would be
private chat. Would you mind checking it?
We're going to work on a volunteer project as a volunteer, but will be recognized fully, who will be allowed to have input, or a group of software developers for that matter, who want to volunteer. Please feel free to give them this subscription email address for my BVI Aviators list, which I'll mention here again. It is BVI Bravo Victor India Aviators plus subscribe at groups.io. And I will happily provide them with
an American 2420 as
the source code.
As this is the first time for the approach. The approach just got a solo. I don't want to give him anything more than he can handle.
Shackle Island, Tennessee, United States. 2.0 nautical miles, 14 degrees.
There's a lot that needs to go into Talking Flight Monitor, and being that it's completely open source, it would be really nice to actually get a team going here that really cares about accessibility and can totally rework that to be able to do much more and be as equal access to both MSFS and P3D as humanly possible. Granted, there are differences between the sims that I do understand, but it needs to be equal access. And like I said, since they've abandoned the 777 and 747, now they're taking on new projects with the A320 and eventually the A380 from fly-by-wire. Those are going to get abandoned too. I guarantee it. There's a lot of features that they've abandoned that they shouldn't have. So I'm not even going to go into them all. But they were supposed to have a feature where you could tell if it would automatically announce planes around you after you set the altitudes for that if flying on VATSIM. That's never been implemented either. And I've had some wacky incidents there. And that would be a feature that would be number... I don't know what number I put that on this if I got enough developers who'd be willing to take on this, but it would be up there. Because a number of times I've needed to know where planes are because there's been no ATC online. And I've been on Unicom but have had no way to keep track. And that goes to another thing. Avoid the BVI pilots list, no association with my list, like the plague. Here's why. They frequently will not answer your questions in a meaningful way. If they answer your questions at all, that's one problem. Second problem is if you disagree with something, and I don't care how nice you are about disagreeing with something that's going on.
7420, descend via the Chesney to arrival. Nashville is landing north. Nashville altimeter 3004.
With what someone posts on that list.
7420.
Instead of discussing it with you,
Southwest 3245, cross blues at flight level 290.
Cross blues at 290.
Or
3245.
Anything like that, you know what they really do? They will just ban you from the list. I've had that happen more than once and I'm tired of it. And if I were you, I would be tired of that too. And yes, I'm going to plug my own list again here because that is not how I run my list. The BVI Aviators group, we treat everyone with respect. All discussions are welcome about flight simulation, especially when you're blind. If you disagree with someone, as long as you are respectful, it's fine. I don't care. The only time I really will throw someone off of the BVI Aviators list, and I've only had to do this twice,
Christiana, Tennessee, United States. 3.2 nautical miles, 166
is
degrees.
if you directly state given facts are false. For example, a few years ago, two people, after posting the facts about how autothrottles are in some specific aircraft, they repeatedly said those particular aircraft did not have autothrottles, even though I posted otherwise. They continue to say no, they don't. Well, I had no choice but to ban those two people because that was a direct violation of the list rules, which basically state that if the facts are given, especially if they're proven facts by a link or something like that, and you continue to disagree with those facts, and that can be a cause for moderation and or suspension and or an immediate ban. And in this case, the facts came directly from the manufacturer of the autothrottle system.
Well, Lotus 11, Atlanta Center is offline. Rail service terminated. Friendship Progress flight.
Over to Unicom, Wild Lotus 11. Have a good night.
Act RTE, let me pilot column 33 of the tab dot. COM 1, com 1, space 1, 22, 122, dot 8, 8, com 1. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0. Com 1, 122.80. Com, distance to descent, 200/0, 0, 26, 39.
Like I was saying, it was a case of I actually grabbed the information directly from the manufacturer of the autothrottle for that aircraft. So it wasn't like the facts were not there. That is like the only time I really will throw people off my list potentially. And like I said, I've only done it twice. And I really don't like doing it. I want my list to be available to all for good discussions about flight simulation while blind. Because there's a lot of things out there and there's a lot of different ways to do things too. Like if you look at my Microsoft Flight Simulator PMDG 737 tutorial video, for example. As far as I know, there are no blind tutorials on how to do the IRS position setup. There are cited videos that tell you how to do it, but I've never gotten that to work. So you can go look at that video for more information about that. But basically what you will do is once you get told that you can set the IRS position, once you are on the initial reference page, type in your airport, and you don't have to type in your gate number or parking spot, but you can. Copy either line 2 or line 3
Winchester, Tennessee, United States. 8.5 nautical miles, 79 degrees.
To line 4. With the right soft keep plus the number 2 or the number 3. And then hit right soft key number 4. That will fully align your IRS position. There are a couple different ways to do that, but that's actually the fastest. There's some other things too, but I will tell you that there's a big difference between my list and the BVI pilot's list. They are only in their own little circle and they don't care what anyone else thinks on the BVI pilot's list. Where the BVI aviators list, which is my list, we care what everyone thinks. As long as people are respectful about it. Other news is tomorrow, September 12th, is the big day for the Apple announcement. So I'm definitely excited to see what the iPhone 15 is going to bring, because I'm definitely looking at upgrading. And maybe the Business Enterprise program is finally getting somewhere. I say maybe because kind of who knows. So we shall see about that. Problem is I need the money I will make from that to do other things, so I've got other things kind of on hold until things actually happen with that. But really can't complain.
Total fuel, 12,720.2 pounds, 1,898.8 gallons. Total fuel flow, 5328. Wind, 277 to 34 knots. Gust at 0 knots. Distance to descent, 156/0, 0, 20, 25. New Hope, Alabama, United States. 5.3 nautical miles, 288 degrees.
Well, that's interesting. There's a New Hope, Alabama, about 130 miles away from New Hope, Georgia. And the interesting thing about New Hope, Georgia is, if you ever heard of I do believe, Atlantic Southeast Airlines. And you ever heard about that plane, the Embraer 120 that had propeller failure and crash landed in New Hope, Georgia? So yeah, I find that interesting that there's another one that close in Alabama. So I was poking around the Greyhound website yesterday and today really, and I've noticed some serious changes with Greyhound. First off, they used to have a partnership with Trailways. Not anymore. That's gone. And apparently Trailways is now completely on their own. Possibly they're partnered up with Megabus. There's no confusion there because a YouTuber that does the odd travel stuff said they're partnered with Megabus. I looked on Trailways and they said they're completely independent now.
Asheville, Alabama, United States. 3.1 nautical miles, 140 degrees.
Secondly, I used to go from Gulfport, Mississippi to Ruston, Louisiana when I was in college. Because Slidell, you couldn't get there very easily. Now without doing a seriously long scenic route. Well, now you can get from Slidell to Ruston in a timely manner. However, if you try to do that in reverse, they still have the same problem, because now it looks like buses don't stop in Slidell coming out of New Orleans. They only stop going into New Orleans. Because you gotta go from Ruston to New Orleans to Mobile, then back to Slidell. What's up with that? On top of that, this is where things get even more interesting. Greyhound no longer has stations in Mississippi in the following cities: Gulfport, gone. Hattiesburg, gone. Both of those stations used to be really busy. I mean, there was always people there, and it wasn't uncommon for Greyhound to have to get another bus down there, especially during holidays or anywhere around holidays, because of how many people were using it from those two cities. And then Jackson, Mississippi, they lost Greyhound service completely thanks to the city of Jackson and Mississippi, the state of, decided not to fund the Greyhound station anymore, which was inside Union Station, which is the same place the Amtrak station is. And what was funny about that station is obviously they designed it so buses could go in there, and it was practically always full of buses. It could hold 8 buses, and 9 times out of 10, there are at least 5, 6, sometimes all the way up to 8 buses in there. Sometimes they squeeze 9 and 10 buses in there. And that's an interesting station for even Amtrak, because there are very few Amtrak stations where the train tracks go over the top of the building. That's what they do. Matter of fact, the Amtrak station and former station in Dayton, Ohio was actually like that. You had to go up to the platform because the tracks are basically on top of the building. That's gone in Dayton, Ohio. It was torn down in like the 70s, early 80s, something like that. I was not even born yet. But even freight trains, you could hear those, and that was an interesting experience. But I'd gone through there so much, the same with Gulfport. I knew the drivers. I knew the people behind the ticket counter. They knew me. I practically knew everyone in Jackson, Mississippi. Crazy, isn't it? The Greyhound stations in Louisiana kind of have moved around a bit too, because the one in Monroe is not at the truck stop anymore. That was about 5 miles down the road. north of where the original Greyhound station was.
Childersburg, Alabama, United States. 3.7 nautical miles.
They
374
moved
degrees.
the one in Ruston from basically by the last gas station before the interstate to 500 South Vienna, which is actually a much better place for it. And now that I see the route, I can kind of see that's a really good thing, because basically what they've done is to get to Ruston from Slidell, you're basically taking back roads. You're coming up from New Orleans after the airport, you're going through Morgan City. It's actually a different route coming back. Going to it, you're going Slidell, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Opelousas, Alexandria, Jonesboro, and Ruston. The reverse of that, there's actually more stops. You have all the same up to Lafayette. After Lafayette, then you have New Iberia, Wasteland, Morgan City, and Homer. Then you have the New Orleans stops. Well, here's the funny part. They finally did away with the stop in Grambling, Louisiana, which was ridiculous to have. Because there's literally a gravel parking lot. And no one ever got on or off the bus there. At least when I did a couple times, they didn't. Let's see, who else? Oh yeah, Vicksburg, Mississippi, I didn't mention that one. That stop's gone too. And with the Civil War stuff that's in Vicksburg, and really no other good way to get there, unless you drive, so that's kind of a damper there. And let's see, I mentioned that in Ruston, it's now 500 South Vienna, which is actually a really good thing, because if I would ever want to go to Ruston, which is in the cards for someday, there's some good train watching spots around there. Actually, I really like train watching in Ruston. But I would go up from Slidell because it's just plain easier. Let's see. Yeah, they've done a whole bunch of changes. And it's pretty obvious that they don't have a contract with Shell anymore. And I can confidently say that because all the stations they used to have that they no longer have, for the most part, were at Shell gas stations. Majority of them. Gulfport, Hattiesburg, Ruston, Lafayette, Monroe. There's 5 stations that I'm highly familiar with. Those are all Shell gas stations. So I'm kind of like, no more contract with Shell gas stations to have their bus stops there too. Because from what I've seen, it's now Love's truck stops. They're using those frequently now. which I don't think that's a bad thing.
Elmer, Alabama, United States, 2.7 nautical miles, 184 degrees. Distance to descent, 26/00321.
Let's see, they're using a couple of Chevrons, and they're using at least one Exxon now. They still use a lot of gas stations, but obviously they are contracting directly with the owner of the actual gas station instead of the company owning the gas pumps, or however that used to work. And I'm really hoping Trailways expands and is able to start yanking away market share for Greyhound, because I'm not opposed to taking a bus. Not my favorite method of transportation. Everyone knows that trains are my favorite way of transportation. Bus is second. But Greyhound employees are not always the nicest people around. Oh, I've seen some crazy things happen. And you gotta be willing to, A, you need to have a thick skin, for one. Two, you need to be willing to stand up for yourself and make sure you don't get left, because I've had that happen a couple times. But for the most part, Greyhound's been pretty good. But Trailways, they're even better. Because from Gulfport to Jackson, Mississippi, when I used to do it, that was actually Trailways. That wasn't actually Greyhound, even though there's Greyhound scheduled. Let me tell you. That driver was much nicer than Greyhound drivers and all that. So there's definitely a dynamic there that's better with Trailways. Anyway, I'm going to start working on my descent here, so I will be back in just a little bit.
Distance to descent, 7/0. V-pilot row 1 columns, act RTE legs 1/MCP heading column 4 MCP altitude row. VMAP on the level change off button mode. VMAP intervene button mode altitude edit alt plan. 0004322 Microsoft Flight Simulator V-pilot column, act RTE legs 1/edit red only multi-line. Select coast to run, 100 full plan, 2, 30 degrees 150 kT. KMO 3, IL 15/CRS /SPD. IL 15/CRS /SPD. KMO 2, 30 degrees 150 kT. Land, 2, 30 degrees 150 kT. KMO 3, 8500 2FT 2591 M 40 degrees 143 kT. KMO 2, 30 degrees 150 kT. Land, 2, 30 degrees 150 kT. KMO P3, 8500 KMO P15. 3, AKMO P2, 30 degrees 150 kT. KMO 3, 8000 IL 54, 109.90/147 degrees 30/150. MCP altitude row 1 column 2 of 11. Microsoft Flight Simulator V-pilot column 4 MCP heading row 2 column 1 5 of 11. Debut professional by untitled. Note that forms main column 4 MCP navigation row 3 column 1 9 of 11. MCP speed column 2 10 of 11. MCP Actar MCP Microsoft V-pilot row 2 MCP heading column debut professional by untitled. Note that forms main MCP navigation column 3 10 left flight right flight approach localizer hold off CMDA on button hold C double CMDB off button. MCP speed row 1 column 2 indic. MC Actar TE legs 1 MCP altitude. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0. Distance to descent 0/0 -1447 feet per minute.
Ready for the approach briefing?
Auto throttle
Okay,
off.
we're expecting the ILS approach for runway 15. The minimum altitude is 200 feet. We'll use auto brakes 2. We can expect to park at gate 7. In case of go around, we'll climb per ATC instructions on the runway heading. Any questions?
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
Set.
Recall.
Check.
Auto brake disarm. Auto brake run.
brakes.
Set.
Landing data.
Check.
Approach briefing.
Completed.
Checklist complete. ILS set.
NAV1 has localizer. Localizer is alive. Runway heading 101.
Choose destination runway. Airport edit plan KMOE. 15. 2 runways loaded. Runway combo box 15 till 33. 15. OK button mode plus Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0. Fort Deposit, Alabama, United States. 3.5 nautical miles. 194 degrees.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone else watching, we are going to descend into Mobile, Alabama.
31,000 feet.
We are looking to have you on the ground in about...
Distance to destination, 125/0,
17 minutes or so. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of this video. I'm a little bit closer into this airport than I really want to be, so I kind of have to pay attention here. So I am going to mute my microphone until I need to start announcing where I am and all that for my approach. So enjoy the rest of this video, and I will be back once we have parked at the gate.
-29,000 feet, minus 1614 feet per minute. $28,000 feet. Nav 1, 109.90, course, 142. Mach 0.66. $27,000 feet. $26,000 feet. MCP speed row 1, MCP nav act RTE legs 1/2, MCP altitude row 2, V-pilot columns, tab control, edit blank, messages tab select, controllers NCTR-1 level 0 center, level 1 NCTR, MEM 05 CTR level 0 coach select level 1 MEMI app 125, MSY app 125.5002 level 1, level 0 tower ground expanded 407, clearance delivery 507, Batis expanded 607, level 1 KJAN Batis 121.05011, level 0 observer 707. Center expanded 107 level 0. Microsoft Flight Simulator. V-pilot MCP speed column. MCP navigation column 4 act RTE legs 1/2. Edit red. Microsoft Flight V-pilot column for MCP speed column 4. MCP navigation row. CM. Act RTE legs 1/ Microsoft Flight Simulator. V-pilot column 4 MCP speed row 2 column 1 indicated there. MCP navigation act RTE legs 1. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0.
Here's a trick. If you have an Amazon Echo, don't know if this works with Google Home, but it definitely works with the Echo. If you ask it for the airport weather, it will pull up a skill. Then you use the 4-letter ICAO code. You look up that airport. Like, for example, I just used it and looked up
15.6 nautical miles, 164 degrees.
MOB for Mobile, which is where we are landing at, and we have calm winds,
23,000 feet.
right around 10 miles visibility, no clouds below 11,000, so it gives you all the relevant information except what runways are in use. I wish it did that, but it doesn't. But it gives you enough information that you can plan your approach properly, and landing properly, that is. That's a little tip there. I actually do have an app on my phone for real world aviation weather for airports, but I don't remember to open that up. No big deal though. We're at 22,000 feet now.
21,364 feet ASL.
Actually,
minus 1585 feet per minute.
21,000 feet now. We're trying to get all the way down to 2,000 feet, and what's interesting about this one
21,000 feet.
is the second to last waypoint is 2,000 feet. That's where we need to be at or above for the second last waypoint. Really, it's going to be at this point for that one. Well, the next waypoint after that is 1,800 feet. Not a lot of room there. So that's why I said it in the last video. If you've seen it already, you've really got to watch what your altitudes are for your approach, because the most important altitude
20,000 feet
is the second to last waypoint, and
MCP Navic Act RTE Lec Edit Red 114 RW 15 105 900/900 land 3 hold at 2 Saint/2008
your go around altitude, which is 2,000 or above.
140 degrees 21 INTC / 232 degrees 4.8 nm 1 MVC 261/FL 108 202 CFLSL 209/2008
there
103 K 155/1800
it's
103 K 100 colon space C A Y A T space
Kayat or Kayat. It need to be at 1,800.
147 degrees 6.0 nm 19,238 degrees 64. 238 degree 2 CFLSL 200 147 3 K 155/147 4 RW 15 150 103 102 201 232 degrees 2.4 nm at RTE Lex 232 degrees 2.4 nm 1 MVC 261/FL 183 18,625 232 degrees 2.4 nm 1 232 degrees 0.8 nm
2.8
18,460 feet
we're
ASL.
gonna make that perfect.
Microsoft Flight Simulator dash Microsoft Act MCP speed column 3 of 11 MCP navigation column 4 CF Mike Act RTE Lex 1/2 MCP speed column 4 of 11 MCP nav Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.1 Microsoft Flight Simulator
At
dash
this point,
1.34.15.0
like I said in the last video, basically I don't need to worry about the legs page. I'm not even concerned with it. I'm concerned with distance from the airport, which I can do with right bracket D.
Distance to destination 72/0 12:45.
Plenty of time to get down, so we're good. I usually would talk more until 10,000 feet, but since I'm getting closer to the airport, I don't really like to
Transition altitude.
Altimeter 1015 29.98 inches. Dot.
And it's such a quick change in altitude between the second to last waypoint and the final waypoint before the runway.
17,000 feet.
I've got to pay attention more here. So, like I previously said, I will be back once we are parked at the gate and recap this flight, and then that will be the end of this video. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will be back in just a little bit.
16,000 feet. Frisco City, Alabama, United States. 6.5 nautical miles, 57 degrees. Distance to destination, 63/0, 11, 23, minus 1506 feet from 15,350 feet ASL. 264 knots indicated. $15,000 feet. $14,000 feet. Distance to destination, 55/0, 10, 12. $13,000 feet. $12,000 feet. $11,000 feet. $10,000 feet.
Passing 10,000 feet.
Left retractable landing light extend. Left retractable landing light on. Right retractable landing light extend. Right retractable landing light on. Landing on. Left fixed landing light on. Right fixed landing light on. Left runway turn off light on. Taxi on. Right runway turn off light on. Taxi light on. Wind lights on. Mount Vernon, Alabama, United States. 5.2 nautical miles. 248 degrees. Wind on. Logo lights on. Logo on. 245 knots indicated. Minus 1089 feet per minute. Distance to destination. 38/0082. $9,000 feet. D. Distance to destination, 34/00. MCP speed indicated airspeed as red only. Intervene off button, no space. Pressed, 240. Indicated at land, 200/04. 0000, 200. Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0. Flaps 0. Left ram door light on. Right ram door light on. Flaps 0.
Flaps 1.
Minus 1184 feet per minute. Flaps 1. Flaps 8172 feet ASL. Distance to destination, 32/0071. Minus 965 feet. 239 knots indicated. 238 knots indicated. Minus 1014 feet per minute. Distance to destination, 32/0070. 235 knots indicated. Distance to destination, 31/ minus 1526 feet per minute.
It would help if I unmute the mic now, wouldn't it? Mobile traffic, Wild Lotus 11. It's about 30 miles from the field, inbound for the ILS runway 15, Mobile.
$221 knots indicated. Minus 1181 feet per minute. 7,000 feet. Distance to destination, 28/0067. Distance to destination, 26/00. MCP speed indicated airspeed as planned, 20002. 180, 180, 180.
Flaps 5.
Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 2. Flaps 3. Flaps 5. $6,000 feet. Distance to destination, 23/000611. 196 knots in. Minus 1138 feet per minute. $189 knots indicated. Minus 925 feet per minute. 5326 feet ASL. Distance to destination, 21/0063.
Mobile traffic, Wild Lotus 11. It's about 20 miles from the field.
NAV1 has
inbound
flight
for the ILS runway 15, Mobile.
5,000 feet. Minus 817 feet per minute. Distance to destination, 20/0057. Approach road light on. Approach on.
194 down. Left 87. 96 down. Left 87. 110 down. Left 87.
Minus 732 feet per minute.
152 down. Left 87.
Sam's, Alabama, United States. 8.9 nautical miles.
103
degrees.
down. Left 87. 64 down. Left 87. 40 down. Left 87. 13 down. Left 87. 11 up. Left 87.
Distance to destination, 17/0,
36 up. Left 87. 53 up. Left
Minus
87.
814 feet per minute.
98 up. Left 87. 97 up. Left 87.
4064 feet ASL.
83 up. Left 87.
Minus 292 feet per minute.
52 up. Left
MCP
87.
MCP navigation column CMDP off mode plus speed, 4,000 feet.
18 up. Left 87.
CMDP light on. CMDP on. Microsoft Flight Sim MCP speed call indicate. MCP navigation row 1
down.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Left
Microsoft Flight
87.
Simulator dash 1.34.15.0.
5 down. Left 87. 46 down. Left 87. 40 down.
MCP
Left 87.
CWSD CMDP on button mode plus B. CWSA on CMDA on button mode plus
68 down.
CMDP on button
Left 87.
Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15 MCP speed indicated. MCP navigation row
92
Microsoft
down.
Flight Simulator dash
Left
Microsoft
87.
Flight Simulator dash 1. Distance to destination 13/0,
96 down.
6.
Left 87. 84 down. Left 87. 25 down. Left 87. 4 down. Left 87. 1 up. Left 87.
Distance to destination 12/0, 342.
39 down. Left 87.
LNAV light off. LNAV light off. MCP
56
speed row 1
up.
column 2 to 11.
Left
Speed
86.
indicated there's plan 108. 60, 60, 160. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0. Distance to destination 11/0, 321. Gear lever down. Nose gear transit light on. Left gear transit light on. Right gear transit light on. Flaps and transit light on.
15.
Flaps extended light off.
Gear
Left
down.
gear transit light off. Nose gear light on. Right gear transit light off. Left gear lock light on. Right gear lock light on. Right gear light on. Gear down. Dot. Left gear light on. Nose gear transit light off. Nose gear lock light on. Flaps and transit light off. Flaps extended light on. Flaps 13. Flaps 15.
Mobile traffic, Wild Lotus 11. About 10 miles from field, inbound for the ILS runway 15. Mobile.
MCP under speed warning on. 169 knots indicated. 3,000 feet. MCP under speed warning off. Distance to destination 9/0, 038. 163 knots indicated. Minus 1211 feet per minute. 2789 feet ASL. Distance to destination 8/0, 0254.
2,500.
Distance to destination 7/0. MCP speed indicated airspeed at land 106. 50, 50, 100. Microsoft Flight Simulator dash 1.34.15.0.
Flaps
MCP under
25.
speed warning on. Flaps 25. Flaps 27.
Flaps 30.
MCP under speed warning off. Flaps 30. Distance to destination 7/0, 0235.
Landing checklist.
Engine number 1 caught. Engine number 2
start
caught.
stitches.
Continuous.
Speed brake.
Speed brake arm light on.
Arm.
Landing gear.
Down.
Flaps.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Distance to destination 6/0, 0222. 2,000 feet. Distance to destination 6/0, 0216. Minus 940. Distance to destination 5/0, 029.
Mobile traffic, Wild Lotus 11 is on a 5-mile final for runway 15. Mobile.
Sam's, Alabama, United States. 2.5 nautical miles, 51 degrees. 1082 feet at 1302 feet ASM, minus 807 feet per minute. $1,000 feet.
Approaching runway 15.
500. 400. 300. 200.
Minimums.
100. 50. 40. 30.
Speed light off.
20.
Speed light off.
10.
Auto throttle servos off.
On ground.
Speed breakout. Reverse thrust.
Auto throttle
148 knots.
Auto throttle arm switch off. Auto throttle light off.
139 knots. 131 knots. 123 knots. 115 knots.
3,000 feet remaining.
105 knots. 97 knots.
2,000 feet remaining.
89 knots.
80 knots.
81 knots.
1,000 feet remaining.
71 knots.
500
63
feet
knots.
remaining.
Speed brake slash arm light on. Speed brake arm light off.
56 knots. 46 knots. 37 knots. 30 knots. 21
Engine
knots.
number 1 reverser light on. Engine number 2 reverser light on.
13 knots.
Left retractable landing light extend. Left retractable landing light retract. Right retractable landing light extend. Right retractable landing light retract. Left fixed landing light off. Landing off. Right fixed landing light off. Navigation off. Scope off. Position lights off. Position lights steady. Navigation on. Captain's pivot heat light on. Left elevator pivot heat light on. Left alpha vane light on. Left temp probe light on. Left master caution light on. Right master caution light on. Anti-ice warning light on. Engine number 1 reverser light off. Engine number 2 reverser light off. F/OPO heat light on. Right elevator pivot heat light on. Right alpha vane light on.
Mobile
Overhead heat light on. Pivot heat
traffic.
off.
Wild
Apple selector on.
Lotus
Apple
11
selector
blind
start. Apple
pilot
selector. Apple selector start. Apple
is
selector on.
vacating
Engine
the
number
runway
1
and
Engine
will
number
be
2 Apple low
relocating
pressure light on.
to
Apple low
gate
pressure light on. Auto brake
7.
disarm. Auto brake
Mobile.
off. Spoilers retracted. Speed brake slash arm light off. Speed brake extended light left master caution light off. Jump to gate. Airport code edit land. K M O D. Gates list. App airport code 73 loaded. Gates list 10 number 5 6 7 number 7 type. Gate small. The news. No 4. Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0. Flap 6. Altimeter 1017 30.02 inches. Dot. Altimeter 1015 29.98 inches. Dot. Flaps and transit light off. Flaps extended light on. Flaps 2. Parking brake on. Parking brake light on. Flaps 1. Flaps 1. Flaps and transit light on. Flaps extended light off. Flaps. MCP speed row 1 column indicated airspeed edit alt plus E selected 1 done. Flap. Microsoft Flight. MCP navigation row CF. Microsoft Flight SIP. RTE legs 1 V pilot column 3 3 of MCP altitude column 4. Altitude. Microsoft Flight. RTE legs 1/1 PM edit red only multi-line selected RTE legs 1/11. Back 2.
CDU message displayed.
GPS
are invalid.
lights off. Select Microsoft Flight Simulator -1 red command data engaged. RT edit red only multi-line. Selection removed. Right aft fuel pump off. Right aft fuel pump. Engine number 2 generator off. Electric hydraulic pump. Isolation. Left side window heat off. Left forward window heat off. Right forward window heat off. Right side window ground power type. Left master caution light on. Right master caution ground power jetway. 2. Connecting INHBT. Transponder mode top. Transponder mode XPNDR. Ground power light on. Ground power. Microsoft Flight Simulator V pilot column 3 MCP edit debut professional by NC untitled. Note forms.main Spotify premium column 4 8 of 8. Airplane service 1/4 PM. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Microsoft Flight. Cockpit panels. Panels 3F. Forward overhead collapsed expanded. 0 items. E. Level 1 electrical collapse 1 to 1. Background power space. Pressed. AC bus. Ground SVC number 1 on. AC bus. Ground SVC number 2 on. Yaw amber light on. Battery discharge light off. Transfer bus number 1 light on. Panels electrical collapse 1 to 1 level 1 indicate. Oh. Generator number 2 bus indicator. APU generator bus indicator. Panels preview. Electric levels collapse. D. Bottom overhead expanded. 0. Cut off. APU start selector combo box on collapsed. APU selector off. APU generator bus light on. APU gen 1 off bus light off. Engine generator off bus light off. Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34. Airplane service 1/edit red only multi-line 2. Connecting INHBT. Doors warning light on. Microsoft Flight Simulator. V pilot row 1 MCP heading column 3. LMAP. Microsoft Flight Simulator -1.34.15.0. Sam's Alabama, United States. 5.7 nautical miles, 355 degrees.
Off.
Probe.
Off.
Hydraulic panel.
Set.
Flaps.
Up.
Parking brake.
Set.
Fuel control switches.
Cut off.
Weather radar.
Off.
Checklist complete.
Welcome to Mobile, Alabama, everyone. I hope you enjoyed tonight's flight on Wild Lotus Airways. This was flight number 11. As you probably figured out by now. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, you can subscribe to my mailing list if you wish. The subscription email address is in the description, as well as mentioned now. BVI Aviators, that is Bravo Victor India Aviators, plus subscribe at groups.io. Hope everyone enjoyed this flight from Cincinnati to Mobile. I decided to surprise my dear Stacy this video, as well as talk about Talking Flight Monitor and the BVI Pilots List, some issues with both of those, and some other random topics. So with that, happy flying everyone, and keep the blue skies up.